Welcome to Chasing Rings Overtime. These fast break episodes are an extension of the main show, delivering quick-hitting takes, bold opinions, and analysis on the biggest stories and topics across sports. While we remain rooted in football year-round, Overtime expands our lens to cover everything happening across the sports world. We will return for a second season of full-length episodes in July as we ramp up for complete NCAA football and NFL coverage in preparation for the 2026 seasons. Until then, let's go. This is Chasing Rings Overtime. Gentlemen, what's popping?
What's going on?
Yo, let's jump into this. G, this is right up your alley. We might have to open up the floor for G and let him get on his soapbox. 2014 playoff they trying to kick now, man. And most of the power conferences are on board with this. And I'm embarrassed to say the one conference that's kind of not on board with it.
SEC.
The SEC. Right. And I don't see a real substantive reason for it. Because honestly, as bad as we are right now compared to the Big Ten, I think it will help us to have a larger field to get some of these teams in. But the most significant wrinkle in this is ESPN is trying to block this. And ESPN is trying to block it. Say it again.
What is their argument?
Well, they have the contract. And their argument is if they expand it too much, then other outlets are going to have to get involved. So basically, they're being greedy.
Absolutely.
They need to shut up. It's like, hey, yo, look, man, this is March Madness. Everybody, you can let some other broadcasts eat too. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Disney.
So their whole thing is they think that, you know, if they expanded the field a little bit, that they can adjust. But, you know, their major argument is you get into 24, then, you know, the financial and contractual landscape changes. Yeah, no duh, it changes. You don't get all the money now.
No, you don't.
You know?
Never do.
So I wonder what's the clause that allows conferences to get out of the ESPN contract, because you know there has to be a clause.
Yeah, there's got to be something.
I wonder, they wouldn't be taking this if there wasn't a way out.
I know, and I didn't realize. I guess because I forget about the ABC partnership sometimes. I didn't realize that the SEC championship game was theirs, but it's that whole ABC, Disney, ESPN thing. So that's kind of why the SEC commissioner is in bed with ESPN on this. But I don't think they're really going to stop it, to be quite honest. I mean, at the center of it is three forces, as we know. It's money, access, and control of the postseason product.
Right.
Yeah, and Peacock is really sticking their nose in quite nicely with some of those other big games. Last season, you know, that'll roll over. You know, somehow they got in there. And, of course, we know Prime TV, they're the sleepers, man. They're right behind it. They're almost like –
I was rolling big time watching the Big Ten on Peacock, boy.
Yeah,
I was like, let me find out. Let me find out the Big Tens, especially when there wasn't no games on. I was like, I forgot about Peacock.
Was that streaming or is that broadcast or cable?
It was streaming.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Right. And that's why I think the Big Ten would be up for it, just not the expansion. They understand the TV thing could go a different way, and they may get a kickback on that too. That's what I'm saying. It just keeps going.
And, you know, ultimately, the conferences are going to get their money no matter what the TV contract is. That's just That's this incestuous thing between the SEC and ESPN. That's what this is about. Yeah. Because no matter where you go, you're going to get your money from TV.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know,
look, man, they can't. Here's the reality. The reality is the ACC, the Big 12, the Big. I mean, that's too many colleges. They all have their monies. ESPN or basically Disney, they're gonna have to eat this one and figure out a way to make it work. There's no way around. And I understand why the SEC is doing what they're doing, because I mean that's one of their big cash cows. You know, People want that guaranteed broadcast money. Schools do. They can help their budgets a lot better knowing where their money is coming from. I get it. But basically, the other three conferences are about going to just steamroll them is what is going to happen.
Well, and ESPN is not the only show in town anymore, man. I mean, big dude, you just did the ultimate breakdown. These other players are in it now, man.
Yeah.
Netflix is in it. I mean, come on. Yeah. Netflix had opening day MLB. You don't think they have some plans on the horizon? I think they have the Christmas Day games for the NFL. They had them last year. So, and ESPN, rep is a little bit shaky these days, and it's been for the last few years. So this might be the last hurrah for them holding on to this particular contract. So this will be very interesting. But ultimately, I agree, G. It's going to be 3 against 1. SEC is going to have to cave at this point. Get what you can get, and you're going to have to cave. So obviously, they're going to stick with the 12-team format again for another year. But it looks like this might be on the horizon. But do you, and I know we've talked about this ad nauseum, and we'll talk about it some more as we edge up closer to the start of the upcoming season. But you guys think we should stick with this 12-team playoff for a little bit, or do you think that, maybe 27 will be ready for the 2014 or maybe even larger?
What do you think, G?
I was looking to see if I could find the back door for these schools, for these institutions or these conferences to get out. I'll go back to that. So should they keep it 12? No, they should. I do believe 24 is the right move. We already know that there are other divisions who are doing that and doing it successfully. So I definitely think you should go there. I do believe there could be that Cinderella factor that you can actually add to the football game. And so just from as a fan, I think it's good to go. I think it's good for the students. I think it's good for the institutions. Now, do you jump from 12 to 24? I don't think I would jump from 12 to 24 because there are too many moving pieces in this world. When you think about the business of college sports, there are entirely too many moving pieces. So I definitely think it should go to 16, and then probably sit and while you can work out the rest of the pieces to get to 24. That's what I would do.
What are your thoughts on this, big dude?
I think the same way. I mean, if you're going to do it, I think we ought to try to perfect 12 and find out. I mean, eventually move to 16, but I think we ought to find out what ails 12. Like we've had the folks that are in there. Who is it that would normally get in? And if it's 16, is it a matter of conferences? Is it a matter of teams? This Notre Dame rule. Where does all that go? Do they have their own way of getting in, and does the whole country have to pay for whatever their expectations are? Regardless of what team they have, and that kind of it's almost like a stink bomb in a trash can. I don't know. Did I say that right? That's what it seems like it is.
Yeah, I think you nailed it.
Yeah, it's like a stink. Everything else and everybody. Not that in Notre Dame, if you have a great season, even if Notre Dame goes 9-2, I kind of understand that with the schedule that they have. But when you start to have some of these other conferences that are beating you and beating you soundly, and you suffer for it early, you get early losses, you're no different than anyone else. And I think that's what happened last time. So I think not setting a precedent against Notre Dame, but just making sure we keep these things in mind, not just with Notre Dame, but whoever the second runners up are in the conferences now, especially if they take away these championship games. There was talk of no more championship games, but then that's what's going to make it harder, not having championship games. I thought we got ourselves down to where folks are going to get in, play the championship games, then you weigh the championship games. And I realize all those champions can't get in. How do you weigh which championship? Obviously, SEC and AC, and maybe ACC, but you just can't have any more 7-win teams in playoff situations.
Yeah, I agree. That's a key distinction that you just made right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with the conference champion going. Definitely, you have to have X number of wins as a conference champion. Totally agree with you. If not, then your conference forfeits that. But going back to the having the conference championship games, I at first, if you had asked me this 6 months ago, I would have said, get rid of them. As much as I loved them, but I feel like the committee has to use better common sense in how they're looking at the conference championship games. And let me give you the perfect example from last year. Indiana, Ohio State. We know they're both going. It was for seeding at that point. And again, one of the best games that I've seen in a long time. It was low scoring, but man, it was intense. It was like an NFL playoff game. That bad boy was intense. And I wasn't sitting there nervous because, what if one of them wins, the other one's going to be out? Again, common sense. They're both already in, but they're the two top teams in their conference playing for the title. Now let's go to the SEC. And, as much as I love my boys, I love the Tide, but I can be objective about it. Because they got it handed to them, I would not have had a problem with them not being in. And my thinking going in was they better stay close, or I wouldn't be surprised if they're out. I would not have had a problem with them being out. And to me, that was a common sense decision that the committee needed to make. So if you go into you know who's going to be in when these conference championship games are set. Some teams are going to be playing for a bid, some aren't going to be. And that's just how it is. It can't always be, it's always for the bid. And it's just like NCAA, right? It's just like on March Madness, right? Other teams are going to get in besides the conference champion. And I know it's more teams in the field, so it's not an apple-oranges comparison, but that's kind of the theory of it. It's not like when that automatic bid first started in March Madness, where if you didn't win that conference tournament, even though if you're the regular season champion, you might not get in. Much different. But football, to me, all of that stuff, they created drama around nothing to me. The only questionable team was Alabama last year, and it's that simple as far as I'm concerned. In terms of the 12 team,
that was the only questionable one
for the conference champions, for the conference championships, not James Madison and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, those are conference champions,
right?
I'm saying that was the only question to me. Texas Tech was going to be in. Who won the? I don't even remember. Texas Tech was the Big 12. ACC goes to big dudes rule about the record. Ohio State and Indiana were in, and I felt like Georgia was going to be in. Alabama was the only questionable team in a conference championship. They were the only team teetering the edge.
I don't think conference championships should have any bearing on who qualifies.
See, I think that they should automatically have bearing, but I think they could help you. I think they could help you.
I don't think it could be considered at all. I look at the championship as a bowl game. Because here's my problem with it. Because you can conceivably give a team that's teetering an extra game that you can't give to anybody else.
But maybe they should join the conference. Maybe they should get in the conference and get more powerful conferences.
I'm talking about even within a conference. So, I mean, you have these.
You haven't earned it. You haven't earned the extra game.
But the point is that, okay, I may not have earned the extra game to the conference, but I can use an extra game against maybe some high power or some really good team that can still improve my chances. But I don't have that because I'm not going to a conference championship. In other words, if you reaching. No, it's strictly numbers. If you go to a conference championship, you have an extra game for people to evaluate and determine, because it's all based on eye tests and all this bullshit, to decide whether or not you get in or not. You get that extra game. You can make the argument that you earned it. Yes, you did. But the point is, you still got an extra game. And then other people don't.
I don't get the relevancy of what you're saying in terms of a playoff argument.
That's because you want conferences to mean something. If you step back,
I don't. I don't want them to mean something.
If you don't want them to mean something, then you should be like where I am. Because if you step back,
I just said that in many instances the conference championship doesn't mean anything. I said,
Right.
but it shouldn't. It shouldn't. Listen, I just said it shouldn't be one extreme or another.
Should it? Okay.
Because
so,
the Ohio State Indiana example, that conference game was meaningless.
Right.
But it was an extra game. It was meaningless. It was just for seeding because they both were in the playoffs.
I was actually concerned about whether or not we were going to get knocked out. I'll be candid with you.
The playoffs? Come on. Big dude, help me out. Big dude, come on, man.
Yeah,
come on, man. Get kicked out of the playoffs.
Come on, man.
Crazy things can happen when you start talking about people's eye test crap.
That's right.
I mean, yeah. Yeah,
Ohio State was going to get kicked out of the playoffs. Come on,
that makes hurt you. The conference game can hurt you.
They can. But here's the thing. So if you take away, I think what Guru's saying is, if you take away the conference championship game and you say it shouldn't mean anything, what is going to be?
I said it shouldn't go into whether or not you get into the playoff. I didn't say it doesn't have any meaning.
So we got
then
that.
It shouldn't. Then we eliminate it. Then
right. But my question is, what in terms of a metric, what replaces that? That's what. So if they already don't have good common sense, they're not going to come up with a metric that's going to help them any better because they already don't have common sense, as you call it.
Talking about
the committee.
The committee doesn't use, and that was his discussion about what common sense the committee should have. So if they were able to use more common sense and use consistent metrics, you might not need a conference championship game. And you were saying it may not help. Well, if you don't use a conference championship, what is the critical metric that gets somebody in the playoffs? So somebody in this, like I said, the 7-win team, Duke, that was it really shouldn't have happened that way, but there was nothing against it. So there's a metric that's missing that should mean more about who gets in the playoffs beyond that.
Well, I think
they use common sense. And they use common sense in the ACC game. They use common sense in the ACC game.
It got us there. And that's the whole idea.
I don't remember.
You got to automatic bid. That is BS.
So I don't remember. Didn't you go to the Big Ten? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I remember now. Weren't you undefeated going into the Big Ten championship game?
Mm-hmm.
And you are literally gonna sit up in here, and I know we play.
I don't
sit up on this show, and you're gonna tell me that you thought if you lost that game, you were gonna miss the playoffs. Come on,
I don't trust the committee.
Please, I ain't even.
And I think that's because I don't trust the committee.
I don't trust them either, but you knew you were in.
Any team this committee allowed Alabama to get into the fucking playoffs.
Disappointed in you, G.
They allow Alabama to get in the playoffs.
Usually,
that tells you everything you need to know.
Usually, you are on point, man. But wow, disappointed in you. Disappointed in you on that one.
A conference playoff, I think it's like a conference bowl game. You go, you enjoy it, turn it into a classic, make it like homecoming if you want. But
that's not what I'm disappointed in. I'm not disappointed in your perspective. I'm not disappointed in your perspective on where you see the championship games ranking in the value of. I'm disappointed that you have the audacity to say that an undefeated Ohio State team going into the Big Ten championship was on the edge of not making it. So give me a break. Give me a freaking break.
No.
Give me a break.
That should tell you how much I don't trust the committee.
But that's the whole point. Taking away the conference championship game, it disarms the committee. The committee already can't afford to be disarmed. That's me saying.
How does that disarm the committee?
Yeah, but
they already can't make a decision. Like Big Dude said, they already having trouble making a decision.
And they don't have a metric. And if you don't trust them, and that you're going to be undefeated, but you already said you didn't trust them if you lost a game and you're undefeated. So there must be something else in between there if you're worried about them not putting Ohio State in the playoffs, which is asinine.
No, they would have just chosen the playoff teams before conference championship week. That's all. They would have looked at the top 12 teams based on the rankings at that point. Y'all 12 are in. But now y'all can go play your conference games.
But again, my question is, if you take away, and I know that our time is short on this, if you take away the conference championship game, what replaces that for the committee to consider. That's all.
G doesn't care. G doesn't care because Ohio State's undefeated after Thanksgiving. He doesn't want a chance of them messing it up by losing in the Big Ten championship game.
Right.
Exactly.
Give me a break, man.
Boy.
The only way, and I'm glad you said that, because I was thinking about the scenario when you didn't agree with my philosophy on why the championship game can matter. Not saying it automatically should, but why it can.
Mm-hmm.
If Ohio State enters that situation like Bama entered this past year, you would have been raising holy hell if y'all was 9-3, let's say, and won and somehow got shunned or something like that, or you're 9-3 and lost on the last play. You would have think that, oh, we were good enough to get in.
No, as a fan, I would have been disappointed. But if I step back objectively, I'm like, nah, we just had all the football angels that game.
And we're not really that far apart on our view here, because again, if you had asked me a while back, I would have said scrap the conference championship game, because I remember I used to be petrified. Then this is before we got the 12 teams, obviously, but I used to be petrified with Bama going into the SEC chip undefeated. I'm like, if we lose here, we don't know what they're going to do. But with 12 teams, Ohio State wasn't going to be ousted for losing. 4 teams, yeah, be worried. 12, no.
Okay, I was afraid they weren't going to be in the top 4.
Okay, G, I'm gonna bust you on this. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I just realized what you said, because I'm gonna go back to our text conversation. All you were worried about was that number 1 seed. You not one time that night said you were scared they wouldn't make it. Thank you. As long as you said that, we back now. We back. But we got him, big dude. He just want to be hard headed, big dude. He know them games have value.
I know who's that rough, man.
Yeah, that's rough, man.
He just didn't want Bama to have any chance whatsoever. That's all. We got what we deserved a couple weeks later, so it's all good. It's all good. Let's wrap up this episode, this NFL schedule release, and man, let me tell you something. We just talked about this ESPN and this money. If someone could explain to me why the hell that NFL schedule first of all, last week this time we didn't even have a date for when this show was going to be, which is ridiculous. Then they released the show, and I was online looking at something saying, "Oh, all the teams released their schedules on social media at 7 o'clock or 7:30." What the hell we got this show for then?
I know.
Because you could have released that online. I could have went to BuffaloBills.com and I'd have been good. I don't need you talking about the dumbass 1 o'clock Houston Texans opener, which to me is a primetime game. Why the hell are we playing the Texans week 1 at 1 o'clock? That's to me the Sunday night game, the Monday night game, the 4 p.m. game of the week.
That's the first week?
The first week, it's the 1 o'clock. That's the stupid. And there was a bunch of other stupid things, but I had no plan on talking about that until I saw how stupid it was. I want to hone in on these damn international games, which also driving me crazy. Most games in the history, 9 freaking international games. And I understand exactly what they're trying to do because everybody's greedy.
Right.
But this is the problem I have. You're sending 2 teams abroad twice. Now,
that's right. Jacksonville goes in consecutive weeks, right?
I think Jacksonville might as well be a European team because, they usuly stay over there. And I don't know if San Francisco. I think San Francisco goes early in the year and then at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 teams. But this is my problem with the international games is that time difference in that travel. And then you expect me to come and be ready for my game the following week. That's a problem to me. And Goodell wants to have 16 international games at one point. So he basically wants one every week.
That's crazy.
So imagine you're the team that's week 16 going to Australia, and then you come back and play another regular season game, and then it's wild card weekend.
Bye. When you come back, you don't get a bye.
Don't get a bye.
Nope. You come back, but get ready for your next game.
Come on, and again, to me, I feel like we're trying to force something down other countries' throats. Soccer is their sport.
Mm-hmm. Here's an interesting thing. So I'm researching it, and yes, they got good views. Yes, they've sold out soccer stadiums, so on and so forth. but there is some concerns about declining revenue. The cities themselves, I was reading, are having concerns with all the money they're having to put out for this. So and then there's also the union, the player union. They're expressing concerns about injuries, just about kind of that wear and tear. You all, if you travel abroad, you know how that
Oh my
really affects.
God.
And
It
so, I mean,
messes you
there are
up.
a lot of concerns, and they're including some financial headwinds. So, like you said, Guru, I know what they're doing. I get it.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the way to do it, particularly in countries where the true definition of football is primary. I just don't
Yeah.
get that. Now,
And they try to play us. They try to play us because the stadiums are full. Yeah, because the circus is in town.
Right.
Circus
Right.
always sells
basically,
out when it's in town.
Yeah, I mean, when we had the old World League of American Football, no man, you could see the empty stadium from a mile
Yep.
away. It was
Yep.
just no way you could do it. We tried it. It was NFL supported, um, and I understand it. It's just, I guess to me, this needs a plan. To me, all of a sudden the international thing, it's not that people aren't aware of it, but it just seems to be so quick and instant to me. And I don't know what an effect it'll have on the season. Like one thing that I don't particularly care for is I don't think, and maybe everybody will disagree, I don't care for divisional games being international. I
Oh,
don't.
no divisional
yeah,
game should be
In
international.
San Francisco
That's
and LA
ridiculous.
that's
in the
That's
ridiculous.
first week,
ridiculous. That's absolutely
come
ridiculous.
on, man.
That's
And
ridiculous.
Melbourne, Australia, in the cricket
It's a
stadium.
joke. That's a joke.
That's
That's a
ridiculous.
joke.
Here's the thing. I thought I liked it. If I remember correctly, when they first started this, these were kind of like non-season type games, if I remember correctly. Isn't that how it started? Or they just went over more
I
like an
think
exhibition?
yeah, I think there were preseason games played in Mexico City. There were a few.
Yeah, I kind of like that model. If the point of it is you're trying to really drum up. Hold on for a minute, y'all.
I just personally don't see the purpose of them playing these international games. I mean, yeah, they're trying to open up the markets and all that. But one thing I want to bring up is, so say this happens and you end up expanding into having teams in these countries. So now what the hell does the NFL schedule look like? Because that team's going to have 8 or 9 home games.
Right.
So you're going to have all these, and you're in a division, right? So everybody in your division, and even for that team to have to make that trek to play those 8-9 games here.
Yeah, and then
something.
And are the international teams that agree, or the NFL teams that agree to do it, are they being rewarded by the commissioner? Is it what's the reward? You know?
Well, I'll tell you something that's crazy, something that I didn't know. So I guess it's officially the this global markets program is the official name of it. And I didn't know that 3 teams are not a part of it. Buffalo, Cincinnati, and Tennessee.
Wow.
Are not a part. And basically that, not that they don't play games there, but it's basically those teams who are part of that program have signed up to try to help grow their fan bases over there. So Buffalo, Cincinnati, and Tennessee are like, nah, we good.
You know what, man? I would have taken that road show to the continent of Africa.
You know, I was thinking that too.
In the Middle East.
Well, all that's coming. That's what I'm saying. When you start to take a look at the experience,
it's coming.
Yeah.
For this, they're talking about there's 4 continents in 7 countries.
Jeez.
Eventually,
come on, man.
See, they're trying to make this like soccer, but it's not going to work. Because here's the thing: soccer has, you all know, they have the professional leagues on the different continents and in different countries, and then they have the national teams. And the national teams really feed a lot of the fervor, you know?
Yep.
You don't have that with football. You have it with basketball.
Shit, I'm happy my boys aren't playing over there, and I don't think your boys have a game either, G. The Eagles go, don't they?
Big to London, yeah.
Well, and you know what? If you gotta go, at least let it be London, I guess.
Yeah,
Why?
I mean, it's a 6 hour. It's a 6 hour
I guess
time
maybe
difference.
culturally it's not the worst, but the time, I mean, the time is bad. But G, you said something really important earlier before we wrap. Is damn, I lost it. I lost it. Anyway. Something it was about the impact of when you come back. Man, I wasn't right for a week and a half afterwards if I was lucky, man. So now I got to come back and play a game as physical and cerebral as the NFL after being over there, after I already just played a game over there.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville is going to stay over there.
I think they might try to make them a team. You know that Jacksonville market is shaky as it is. I wouldn't be surprised if they're the first team.
And they're denying that. They're saying, hey, they're not too sure that the league can benefit from them coming over because they'd have to, come over 8 times. And how do they have a team where they have to come eight times a season or 9 times?
And what about us, the fans? Like I was talking about this with my wife earlier. I'm like, I don't wake up for those games. I mean, I'm not a morning person as it is.
It like 9:30 our time.
Yeah.
No, you're not. No, you're not a morning person.
And for the NFL, I would do anything for the NFL. I would watch, I'd do anything to watch NFL games. But my thing is, most of us who are into NFL like that, we're trying to get stuff done before the games start. Depending on what part of the country you live in, I'm not waking up to watch a game that early and then going to be watching games from 9 o'clock in the morning to midnight. Nah, not doing that. So to me, I feel like they're ignoring the fans with these games as well, because I don't know what time these games are coming on. And also I was thinking about what time those games start in some of those countries. I think a few of those teams are going to be playing at like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I saw. 9:30. But you know what, man? What they probably should have done, and they probably call themselves going to like one of, what are they? What is Europe? Is Europe like the second largest economy from a continent perspective? I can't remember. But they ended up going there when they really should have stayed the tails home first. Like the NBA. NBA went north first, and now they're trying to spread it out. And now you see professional leagues. Baseball, see how baseball expanded.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what NFL should have gone. They should have gone north and south first.
Yeah. Well, we know, I hate to say it, but of all the leagues, and I don't have anything to support it, but I go out on a limb and say they're the greediest of all the leagues.
Yes, they are.
Well, they have the most limited product if you think about it.
They do. Yeah. And I get it because the season is the shortest, right, of anyone's, right?
Yeah.
So
that's why it's good, and that's why all of us just get crazy for college football and professional football.
Yeah,
you don't have much of it.
No, that's true. That's very true. Anyway, good. I'm sure we'll continue to have that conversation about that, especially as we get close to the season. But thanks again for joining us for another episode of Chasing Rings Overtime. Until next time, see ya later.